Welcome back to episode 3 of my Tesla Robotaxi video series, where we're going to be going from the Home Depot to the Stacy Neighborhood Pool. This is one of the routes I use AI to help me find, just because I'm not super familiar with the area. But the route was fairly challenging, just due to usually occlusions at intersections and things like that. But the car did a great job. It didn't really have any issues at all on this route. So this will be a pretty straightforward drive, just kind of watching the car flex its muscles in terms of just its confidence and how it drives. But yeah, as soon as we kind of hop in the vehicle here, you'll kind of notice the safety observer here. He's essentially asking me for, my app, just to confirm that I have the Tesla Robotaxi app and that I am authorized to use the service, since it is early access right now. So you'll see when the drivers ask me, if, they turn around and talk, that's usually what they're asking me for at the beginning of these rides. But as soon as we do that, I will press the start button either on the app or on the passenger screen, and then basically the car immediately starts driving and following the route. So we're trying to start our route here, and of course we got a kind of a slow-moving pickup truck here in this parking lot with the trailer. The car's got its turn signal on, does a great job waiting for him to pass, and as soon as it's passed, it starts its left turn as we try to make our way out of this parking lot. All right, so this is the second unprotected left turn we've had to make to get out of this parking lot. Again, the car doesn't make any jerky inputs. Everything is smooth. And again, it seems like rider comfort, it was a top priority from a training perspective for Tesla with this launch, this platform, and it shows. Um, Again, I get really car sick usually really easy, and I have yet to get car sick in a Tesla Robotaxi, so I consider that a big success so far. It does not appear that we had a stop sign at this intersection. However, because it's the entrance to the parking lot, I think the car made the right move and just kind of momentarily pausing to look to make sure it was clear to go. But as you can see, it was all smooth. It wasn't jerky at all. So again, I'm perfectly fine with that behavior, especially considering how crazy some of these parking lots, like for bigger stores like Home Depot, can be, especially on a Saturday. And here we have our third unprotected left turn coming out of the Home Depot parking lot. Here it's on a busier road though, but as you can see, the car does not pause or hesitate longer than it needs to. And when it decides to go, it commits to it and it makes a smooth left turn, as you can see with the steering wheel inputs and acceleration profile that has been selected. So really good behavior there. So one thing I noticed riding around Austin is that there are a lot of speed bumps, especially around residential roads. And here is kind of our first one here. And I've seen the car pretty much never miss one of these. And it always does a great job of noticeably slowing without being jerky or sudden. And then, nicely proceeding over them. Again, this is an area where I'd say Tesla is definitely superior to Waymo right now. Um, their handling of dips in the road and bumps. I had a video that showed the comparison of how they entered a bumpy parking lot at Terry Black's, and the Waymo just kind of carries way too much speed. And then as the car's almost bottomed out, it decides to kind of wham the throttle open, versus the Tesla Robotaxi kind of, traverses the bump at a slower speed and then kind of keeps that slower speed and gradually adds speed to enter the parking lot. So, that behavior obviously results in a much comfortable ride, more comfortable ride for the Robotaxi users. Here we're coming up on a cyclist here who's continuing to proceed straight. However, we need to make a right turn. The car confidently slows, so you can see here, and then kind of waits for him to go. And it just times it perfectly, right? Where we never have to jam on the brakes or do any weird behavior there. The car does a great job of matching the speed. And then we immediately have more speed bumps here. Again, the car slows nicely for those and proceeds over them without an issue. So entering these particular neighborhood, the roads split, and there are some directional roads here. So the one on the right, traffic goes both ways. The one on the left that we saw that fork is only one road. So car did a great job, obviously navigating on the right one. And then this neighborhood here is interesting because there's a bit of elevation change. So some of these stop signs have quite a bit of occlusions, either with parked traffic, like we'll see up here, or foliage, things like that. Again, the car does a great job. If it can't see, it will inch forward as a human driver would, and then pause, make sure it can see, and then once it has the vision it needs, makes a decision to go. It goes from there. All right, here's our last turn. There's a bit of occlusions, but the car doesn't really get phased by it. It makes the left turn really without issue, like it has done before, and then it will go find a parking spot just past this dumpster here, where it will drop us off. But overall, another great ride from Robotaxi. This really as smooth as butter. Again, you hear me use that phrase a lot, just because it accurately describes the driving characteristics. But yeah, it drops us off here, and that's that. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.